Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheep Get Sheared podcast, home of people, politics, and popular culture. I'm your host, Austin Creed, and I come to you tonight, my friends, because I have a feeling that both you and I need to hear this tonight. You know, it's Sunday night. Most people are dreading the weekend, dreading the end of the weekend. They're lamenting it. They're wishing the weekend was longer. They don't want Monday morning to come tomorrow. They're just like, oh, no, I've been looking forward to the weekend for so long, and now it's over, and I don't want to go to work. You know, I don't like my job, or I just don't feel like doing it. I want to just, call in sick and pull a Ferris Bueller tomorrow. But my friends, look, here to tell you something. I'm sure some of you are working really hard, either to break away from the rat race, or you're just putting in that work because you know you want to get that promotion. Because my friends, let's be totally frank and honest with each other. Staying motivated is hard. Now, why is staying motivated so hard? Because motivation it's fleeting. It's something that you'll feel from time to time in short bursts. It's the discipline that carries you through. It's the discipline that puts you in that position to do well, whether you feel like it or not. And that's just life, unfortunately. I hate to tell you. It's one of those things that comes from self-leadership. If you're unable to lead yourself and say, hey, I know I don't want to do this. I don't feel like I want to do this today. Or I don't feel like I want to go to work tomorrow. I don't feel like I want to interact or answer this email or whatever it is you're doing. That's a huge breach of self-leadership if you allow yourself to give in. You need to be able to say, hey, just because I don't feel like doing something does not mean I'm not going to do it. Motivation is great. In fact, it's helped me get through a lot of the toughest moments of my life, I'll tell you that. But you need to have discipline. But you know what's complicated about discipline? I'm an ex-military guy. And discipline was instilled in me mainly through trauma, mainly through difficult times, unhappy circumstances, and loud voices. In fact, funny story, if I even hear like a loud knock at my door, I immediately flash back to my days in basic training when every single day we would hear revelry at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then we hear a banging on the door. Every time I hear someone even knock on my door too loudly, I immediately flash back and I'm like, oh no, it was all a dream, and I'm back at basic training. Oh wait, hold on, no, I'm still back here. I'm still in college. I'm still working on getting my degree. I'm good. I'm here. But sometimes discipline can leave a bad taste in your mouth. Sometimes discipline, if learned from a negative point of view, you could start to resent it. As weird as that sounds, those of you who've learned discipline the hard way, you know what I'm talking about. And it's something you tend to learn the hard way, and it's something that you start to resent the very thing that's keeping you going, as sick as that sounds. And for those of you who don't have any discipline at all, it's something you have to develop. Because if you want to separate yourself from the rat race, if you want to separate from the herd, if you want to be someone who's an individual and not just another cog in the giant wheel of the machine, you need to be able to lead yourself, and you need to be able to work for yourself. Because when you work for yourself, there's no boss looking over your shoulder saying, hey, yo, Murray, step your game up. Hey, Murray, what the hell's going on? I asked for those reports last week. There's none of that. It's just you. So I want you to know, the reason why staying motivated is so hard is because you're not always supposed to be motivated. That's when your discipline's supposed to carry you and make the difference. I know it's tough. Life is full of really tough choices and really unfortunate realities. I'm aware of this. That's the whole point, though. It's about winning the battle so that you can win the war. We all have our own individual problems, our own individual circumstances that require an individual addressment. Addressment, is that even a word? Whatever. It requires you to address it on an individual level. I don't know what your problem is. Your problem could be that you maybe need sexual attention. Maybe it's feel like you should be making more money. Maybe it's you're just unsatisfied with where you are and you want to be better. Or maybe I'm just projecting. Maybe I'm just projecting on the show today. It's entirely possible. But I'm telling you, and I'm telling me at the same time, you have to realize that motivation is like happiness when it's fleeting. Yeah, it feels great in the moment, but you got to put yourself in an environment that is friendly towards your motivation and will not require a substantial amount of energy to maintain your discipline. If you set yourself, it's like being on a diet. Anybody ever been on a diet? If you're out trying to lose weight and you're constantly surrounding yourself, you go in the pantry, there's tons of junk food. You open up the refrigerator, it's full of sugary drinks. You hang out with friends and all they want to do is go to eat donuts and cookies and stuff like that. You're going to have a really hard time. You're going to feel exhausted all the time by saying no, no, no all the time. Same thing is true for your life. If you're trying to set up a business, if you're trying to separate from the rat pack and the herd, and you're surrounded by people who maybe are addicted to a substance or they're just complete oxygen thieves and dealing with BS problems that they don't actually know how to solve, that's going to weigh you down. That's going to be really tough. If you're surrounded by, a woman who doesn't get what your goals are, or you're surrounded by other dudes who are just complete boonhounds and that's all they care about, that's tough, dude. It's no wonder you're exhausted. You have to be surrounded by people and places that will make your life easier, not make your life more difficult, so you're fighting them and you wonder why your world's coming down. Even Atlas had a hard time carrying the world on his shoulders. You don't have to do that every day. Atlas had a really tough time trying to hold up the world. Do you think he had time to hold up the world while at the same time create a whole new one? Yeah, I don't think so. And yet so many people try to do that every day. They try to hold up their old life, their old world, but they want to make a whole new one at the same time. My friends, it's not conducive. It's not possible. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to give you a good dose of reality, because as I've said on this show before, good medicine tastes lousy. And good old Austin gives you the pill you need to get straight. And I'm here to tell you, you need to stop trying to carry your old life into your new one you're trying to create. If you're trying to be better, if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, you can't be surrounded by mediocre people who are not on the same journey as you. They're going to try to get you to stop at detours that you wouldn't stop at if you were alone. That's why I talk about solitude and why it's so important, especially when you're trying to reinvent yourself. As you reinvent yourself, you will naturally come into contact with people on the same road and on the same journey as you. This is inevitable. The problem is you're not going to meet those people if you're surrounded by a bunch of good time Charlies who are just going to bring you down, distract you, and bother you with their bullshit. That's not going to happen, because you're going to repel the people who would naturally come alongside you and help you out. That's just the reality of it. If you think that you're going to create this whole new life, like I said, I know it might sound like I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to say the same thing in different ways, because sometimes saying something in a different way could totally impact you differently. But it all comes down to motivation. This is the kind of activity that could be sucking your motivation away. This could be the type of garbage that's keeping you blocked up and keeping the motivation, the creativity, and the joy from flowing in your life. It's tough out here. I'm not going to pretend like you're on the gravy train, but it's all about the mindset. Because if you have the mindset of, oh, my life's so tough, I got to deal with crap I don't want to deal with, oh, I have to go to work tomorrow, then it's going to seem like a chore. It's going to be a lot more energy is going to be taken. Whereas if you say, I get to go to work tomorrow, I get to deal with this tomorrow, and it's going to be great, because I'm going to make it great, It might sound silly and infantile, but let me tell you, your whole mindset will shift because your perception is reality. Your perception is your reality. And yet so many people have the perception of almost nigh victimhood. You almost see yourself as a victim sometimes with the stuff you have to deal with. I know I did, and sometimes I unfortunately still do. But it's all about that mentality shift. It will help speak volumes in your life, and you will see things differently, and so you'll approach them in a different way and hopefully produce a different result. That is the point. My friends, you can't always control what happens to you in this life, but you can for sure control how you react to it, how you allow it to make you feel, and then ergo how you act in response. That you can control. And if you think you can't, oh my goodness, we got a whole nother problem to deal with. But my friends, I want you to realize how much power you have over your life, because it's the norm says that you don't have control and you feel as if you're a rag doll in your own life, just kind of along for the ride. It's not true. It is not true. It might feel that way right now, but once you accept accountability in your life, you will feel in control of your life again, and you will feel such power. I speak that as someone who had to do it themselves. Initially, I didn't want to, and then slowly but surely, I said, wait a minute. I'm starting to feel powerful again. I'm starting to feel in control again. I'm starting to feel fantastic again. Why is this? Oh, because I'm taking control of my life again? I feel as though I'm not a victim in the story of my life anymore? I'm not a side character in a book that's supposed to be about me? Oh my gosh. This is great. But it takes time. It takes deliberate, directive action. But you'll get there, my friends. And all it takes is the will of a single man. You could change the world. My friends, God bless you. Have a great beginning of your week. Let's win and not give up. And let's keep our mentality straight and not allow people to influence in a negative way, because we have too much ahead of us to be negative. My friends, God bless you. God bless your families. God bless America. We will win the war, and we will run the race, and we will win. Peace out.